I'm so glad you're here to talk about journaling. So, I just wanted to give you a few tips, and whether you are using the Grief Storm card deck journal prompts or you have chosen to buy the additional journal where you don't have to copy the questions into a notebook, or maybe you have just chosen to get the Grief Storm notebook that's full of lined pages, blank pages, or even some comic strip pages. Either way you prefer to journal is totally fine. There's no right or wrong way. The most important part about journaling is it helps us release the muscle memory of our experience. So when we are talking about grief in particular, if we're talking about your grief or your child's, that grief is stored in their body. It's stored in those muscles. And the more that we can physically write, the more it releases that emotional memory. And that allows us to feel our feelings and then move through them rather than just ignoring them or stuffing them or avoiding them till a later time. A few other tips I wanted to give you about journaling is that I would encourage you to take it just one prompt at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself or your child. Even if you feel like, wow, this went really well and I love how journaling has helped, try to stay to one prompt. That decreases the chance for overwhelm or for your child to resist doing it in the future. So keep it small, keep it simple, one prompt a day. The other thing is, I really want you to practice coming from a place of curiosity, not assuming that you know what your child is going to write about or how they think or process an event. And the other piece is no pressure. So when we come from a place of curiosity, we're not doing these journals with the idea of pressuring answers, pressuring words or feelings out of our child. This is really just showing them and providing them a safe place, a safe outlet. Especially our kids with blizzard grief really need a place to express themselves and a place to write down their thoughts, because most of the time they're just storing them on the inside and not sharing them. A couple other tips are, make sure that you are doing journaling at a time when you have time to talk about what they wrote if they want to. So trying not to stack this in between you running to a sports event or trying to get supper made, or maybe you're already running late for bedtime and now you don't have time to talk because you've got to get in bed so that the kids get a certain amount of sleep. So again, just be mindful about when you are trying to do your journaling. The other piece is try to be consistent. Try to pick a time where most of the time you could do it at this time. Again, flexibility is part of it. You don't have to be rigid with every day at 7 o'clock we journal. It can be more after supper we journal. So again, not necessarily a rigid time schedule. The other thing is these prompts are more like a doorway. And when I say that, what I mean is these prompts are to encourage these grief conversations that might have been difficult to talk about in the past, or you didn't know how to get them started. Our kids are relying on us to bring up the topic, and a journal is an excellent way to do that. You can either use the journal prompts as a talking point, or you could have family journaling time where everybody sits and writes in their journal for 5 to 10 minutes, and then you share about what you journaled about. If you're all working on the same prompt, then you could all share about that. Or if you choose everybody's doing their own prompt at their own pace, that's okay too. Again, what I really want you to hear is there's no right or wrong way to do it. I just encourage you to do the writing and to do the talking or the follow-up conversations. Another great thing to think about or keep in the back of your mind is that sometimes when we journal, it brings up some uncomfortable feelings or some points of view that maybe you hadn't thought about. So, for example, maybe your child didn't like the way that you handled something, and they're feeling comfortable enough to share that in their journal, and they are talking about it with you as you discuss the journal prompts. Be open, again, staying open and curious, but allow that chance for the repair. If your child is brave enough to bring something to you, take a listen to what they have to say. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to apologize and agree that their way of thinking is right. What you are letting them know is, I hear what you're saying, and your viewpoint is important to me, and I appreciate you for sharing that with me. The cards can be a great point for conversation. So again, even though you're journaling, maybe you want to bring in the grief card deck and everybody draws a feeling card, or everybody picks a prompt in how they want to advocate for themselves for the day, or a coping tool that they want to use after they journal. These are great ways to use the card deck and not just the journaling prompts that make it easy, light. It can keep it a little bit more playful. And again, when we're talking about heavy conversations, sometimes it's hard to want to get involved and invested and sit down with the journaling, because we might have these preconceived notions that this is going to be hard, or this is going to be uncomfortable, or I'm not sure how to handle this topic or what my child might say from here. If these are questions that are crossing your mind, just know there are additional support options for if you would like some more support. Please feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm so glad that you're here and trying out the journaling prompts, and would love to hear any feedback from you.